Hello, my name is Sean McMillan. I'm giving a presentation on servant leadership. It started in 1970 when a man by the name of Robert K. Greenleaf wrote an essay, and in the essay he talked about servant leadership. He's quoted by saying, "The servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead." Servant leadership is about providing for those around you before yourself. Not worried about self-recognition and what it can do for you. Genuine service and finding your purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? Look at the picture on the left. It shows a boss bossing people around. That is a type of leader, but it is not a servant leader. A servant leader is in front, like the photo on the bottom, leading those before him. He is showing what it takes to get things done, helping those around him by actually getting his hands dirty and showing them the correct way to do it. Keys to servant leadership are commitment to the growth of people. You want to see people grow around you. You want to give yourself to other people and show them what it takes. You want to be there for people. You want to listen to them, hear what they have to say, hear what they need. Showing empathy for people. Building a true sense of community with those around you. Making yourself out there, putting yourself out there, showing them that you're there for them whenever they need you. Persuasion. You want them to know your message and guide them in the right way. You want them to believe in what they're doing and what you're doing. Make them follow you. And living a life of Christ, devoting yourself to Christ and giving yourself the way he did to those around him. Tony Dungy wrote the book The Mentor Leader, and in that book he talked about his calling to leadership and what it meant to be a mentor, and that translates directly to servant leadership. It's pretty much the same thing. Um, Effective leadership is what he talks about most. He talks about giving himself up. He gave up his career of coaching to be a leader, to help those in need in jail. He visited jails and was a man of faith and leadership there. He quotes Mark chapter 10 and he says, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as a ransom for many." He talks about devoting himself to those that are less fortunate than him. Tony Dungy also was quoted in his book by saying, "So when it comes to effective leadership, it's not about you and what makes you comfortable or helps you get ahead. It's about other people. It's about serving God by serving others." You can see in this picture, he's standing in front of his men. That's a significant way of coaching. You're standing in front of them, showing them how it's done. He's not standing behind them, bossing them around. He's showing them exactly what they need to do to be successful, and he's in there with them. He's a part of their community. This is Jeremy Affeldt, who was a pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. He does speeches all around the country now, and he's quoted by saying, "Love my neighbor as myself." And he has a tattoo on his forearm that says, "No man shall live for himself." He's also quoted to say, "I want to value you because you are human. I want to help you because you cannot help yourself." He is a man that has found his true calling by being a servant of Christ and helping those around him. Here is a video of Jeremy speaking to a community at Washington State University, and we'll watch a quick clip of what he has to say.
For me. And so I was sitting in this bullpen, and I would sit there before games a lot of times before BP, and I would just kind of gather my thoughts because I had a lot of thoughts running through my head, and I had a lot of internal stress for not knowing who I was. So I was trying to calm myself and just kind of go through my day and kind of focus on what I needed to do that day to try to be good when I felt like I wasn't. And that day was completely different. That day I sat out there with a smile on my face and feeling so free in who I was. And I was trying to figure out, I knew that I had helped that girl, but I was like, man, there's a tremendous amount of freedom in who I am. And I remember thinking about my day and thinking about that girl and just seeing that I simply loved my neighbor as myself. And I didn't know who this girl was. I didn't want anything from her. She couldn't give anything to me. I just wanted to look at her as a human being and say, I value you. And I want to help you because you can't help yourself. You're eating a cup of noodles that someone might have got you or you might have stole or maybe you paid for. I don't know, but it's a 59-cent thing. You don't have enough money to feed yourself, and I do. I got a lot of issues, and I had a lot of issues at that time, but money was not one of them. And so I wanted to help her out. And I felt so good about that, and I was thinking, man, why do I feel so good about simply just helping that person? I've helped people before, but why do I feel so good now? And I remember getting this feeling of, because what you've been given in life is a platform to not be selfish with. It is not about you in life. Your talent, your skills, your success is not about you. It is about your ability to use what you've done and what the gifts that you have and the platforms that you've been given to help other people become who they're supposed to become.
Jeremy goes on to say how he devotes himself to helping other people, giving what he has to those who don't have what they need to have in order to become the people that they need to become. He gives his life now to making sure other people have the opportunity to become their true self. He started an organization called Generation Alive. It helps to relieve hunger in local communities and to fight human trafficking, and it also helps develop leaders. It gives children and other young adults the ability to make change in their community, the ability to serve others, to be servant leaders. Directing this to coaching and athletic administration is our job as coaches to listen to our players, to make sure their voices are heard and we are doing exactly what they need to get done. We're providing the proper direction. We're inspiring them. We're giving them purpose to what they do in their day-to-day life. And we're being an active participant. That might mean doing the drill with them, telling a joke every once in a while, making it fun for the kids to help them learn and go in the right direction. We want to be servant leaders by giving ourselves up for them. We got to realize that players are more important than ourselves. It's not about us winning a championship and building our trophy case. It's about creating good young men and women on and off the field, giving them the life lessons that they need to be successful. It's about sacrificing our time for them. It's about giving up what we want to have them get better in their everyday lives. We need to prioritize who is important in our lives, our family, our friends, our players, our jobs. We need to figure out what's going to work for us in order to best help our team. What is our calling? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? We need to find out why we are coaching. Are we coaching to collect accolades and become Hall of Fame coaches? Or are we helping our players become Hall of Fame players and Hall of Fame people? That's what we need to figure out, why we are coaching and being servant leaders. The book Season of Life by Jeffrey Marks highlights Joe Ehrmann, who's seen in that picture. And in that book, Joe Ehrmann's coach says, Biff discussed a broad spectrum of other things that are hard. Being a good husband, being a good father, being a good team player, being a servant by putting the interests and desires of others before your own. Being a servant leader is not easy. There's many times where we want to focus on ourselves and what's going on in our lives. But we have everything we need. We need to give ourselves up for others that do not have what they need to be successful. In John chapter 13, it talks about, when he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I have done for you? He asked them. You called me a teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your teacher, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his own master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you have been blessed if you do them. He's telling them to serve other people just like he is serving them. In Matthew chapter 20, not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great amongst you, be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. In Ethics 101, we hear John C. Maxwell say, we don't often think like John Bunyan, who said, you have not lived today successfully unless you've done something for someone who can never repay you. In summary, servant leadership is putting others before yourself. Your satisfaction comes from success of others. Seeing other people be successful should give you the gratification you need. Inspire those around you. Give yourself up for other people. Make them feel important. Give them importance in their everyday life.